Hello, I'm Daniel. I work with FCCPC. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about the forms that I had sent you earlier to help you to navigate the FCCPC course that you're currently enrolled in. And I'm looking at the first form. I don't know if you can see it very well. It looks like this. The helpful hints for completing the FCCPC. Hint number one is about writing competency statements. What you'll do is write the competency statement verbatim, word for word. And after that, you want to write your name. When you write your name, then you want to work on the body of the work. And you want to tell us how you meet the competencies in your daily occupation. You want to write about what it is you're doing right now in your classroom to meet that competency. And it's going to be in present tense. Where please don't write about what's happened in the past or what you'd like to do in the future. Please write this particular competency in the present tense pertaining to what you're doing in the classroom right now to meet each of the 8 competency statements, please. Hint number 2, or helpful hint number 2, is about providing nutrition information. Because of a glitch in the program, there's not much by way of instruction for this particular assignment, but what we would like for you to do is to provide the name and contact information for the child and adult care food program that you deal with every day that has to do with your program. Please tell us what your source of nutrition is for breakfast, for lunch, and for snack, and so forth. What is your statewide source of nutrition? Please give us a name, give us an address, give us a phone number, give us a website. The more information that you provide, the higher you can score on the rubric for that particular hint. Moving on to the next page, hint number 3, writing the learning experiences, or in other words, the lesson plans. The lesson plans are in parts, and so you want to write your goals, which should be tied to your state learning standards. You want to write about outcomes. You want to list materials. You want to give instructions, and we'll go through each part of that very briefly. You want to name the lesson plan and then write your goal. The lesson plan should be written in future tense because it is a plan. Okay, we should not see plans about what happened last year, or, you know, it should be future tense because you're planning for tomorrow, for next week, or for next month. When you write your instructions, please write the instructions so that a substitute teacher or a parent might be able to navigate your lesson plans in case of your absence. List the materials that you're going to use to carry out the lesson plan. And please be advised that children are not materials. Their fingers and their toes are not materials. You want to write out and list the actual materials that you're going to use to carry out the lesson plan, please. When you write your assessment for the lesson plan, the assessment should be such that it asks a question. You can use open-ended questions, oral quizzing, demonstrations, skits, role plays, or other creative methods of gauging whether the child acquired the skill or not. But the assessment should in some form ask a question. It's different from an observation. Please don't confuse the two. An observation is totally objective. There's no interaction with the child. You're simply writing what it is you see, or you're making notes about what you may not see. It's totally objective. Whereas the assessment, you're going to be engaging with the child. You're going to be conversating, asking questions, encouraging the child to speak to you or sing to you or dance for you or demonstrate in some manner that they have mastered the skill that you just recently taught. The accommodation should be different from what's planned for other students. It should be written for a student that has a bona fide special need. By that, we mean a speech impediment or blindness or deafness or autism, or a child that may be wheelchair bound or some other type of special need. If you don't have any special needs children enrolled, please improvise for us so that we can get past this rubric and get done with this course, and you can get on with your career and your future. We understand that for your company, your lesson plans may be set up differently. You may have a certain form that you use to write lesson plans each day, but for this course, while you're working to pass the FCCPC, please work with us and follow the instructions given in the assignments, follow the guidelines of the rubric, and write the lesson plans, please, as we're asking you to write them. As far as an accommodation is concerned, behavior problems are not special needs. Sometimes teachers write for bad behavior, quote unquote, or some other type of behavior problem. That is not a special need. We're looking for ways that you will accommodate your lesson plan for children with bona fide diagnosed special needs. Sometimes behavior problems are because the teacher has failed to establish boundaries and to keep children engaged with meaningful learning experiences and effective transitions. And those are the kinds of things that we are working on with this course. So please be advised and please be intentional. That's the daily lesson plan. Now moving on to the weekly lesson plan at the bottom of the second page that I sent you, hint number 4. If you have 7 parts to your day, such as large group, music and movement, transitions, small group, centers, outdoor time or story time, and there are 5 days in a week, you want to write a lesson plan for each part of your day, whether you have 4 parts to your day, 5 parts, 6 parts, but we use as an example right now, 7 parts to your day, as I stated earlier, and you're writing for 5 days in a week. That will give you 35 lesson plans by the end of the week. Now, each section of your lesson plan should have 3 parts. That should be a goal, a description, and an accommodation. For each part of your day, when you're writing that lesson plan, that part of the day should have a goal, a description, and an accommodation. So again, if you have 7 parts to your workday when the children are present, and you're writing for a 5-day week, by the end of the week, we should see 35 lesson plans, and each lesson plan will have at least 3 parts, and that will be the goal, the description, and the accommodation. All right. Moving a little further, we want to talk about learning outcomes. And let's see if you can see this. I'm not sure you can see this particular page. The learning outcomes. This is a page that I sent to you earlier. When you write your outcomes, you want to write about the behavior you would like to see in the child by the end of the lesson that you just taught. For an example, Billy will be able to pick up 75% of the jackstones. That is the learning outcome that you would like to see by the end of the lesson. The outcome, as we said earlier, should be tied to your early learning state standards. And the outcome must include a condition, a behavior, or a level of performance. So when you have that statement that I just shared with you, Billy will be able to pick up 75% of the jackstones. That has everything that you will need to write a professional learning outcome. It's naming the behavior, the condition, and the 75% or whatever percentage you'd like to use will give a level of performance. If you want your children to perform at 100% proficiency by the end of the lesson, you can simply write that in. If you want them, if you expect that they might be performing at 80%, 75%, it's all up to you. You're the teacher, you're the professional. When you write your lesson plan and your learning outcome, you tell us at what level you expect your children to be by the time they finish this particular lesson. Okay, and that's all it is. Sometimes our teachers stumble over this particular pothole, but it's very easy to do. Okay, and then I'm moving on to a page from my book that I sent, if you can see this. I sent it to you by email. It's, again, we're talking about writing lesson plans and learning outcomes. And the example that we use here is that the students will be able to put together a 6-piece shapes puzzle with 90% accuracy or better. That is the lesson plan outcome that this particular teacher is writing. Okay, and then she also writes an assessment strategy and an accommodation for special needs children. And then the last page, if you can see this one, it's not showing up so well, but this is the last page that I sent to you. It's another page from my book. And it talks about writing the assessment strategy. As we said before, the assessment should ask a type of question. It should be questioning in some way. And this reads, by the end of the lesson, I will lay out 10 large crayons of different colors. I will ask each of the children to pick up the color I name and hand it to me. When they do, they will state a plan for their work time and proceed to that particular area. Then the accommodation says, excuse me, for Spanish speaking students who do not speak English, I will name the crayons in Spanish and follow the plan for work time. So she has not listed anything about children's behavior. She has listed a special need. Children are in her class that cannot speak English. In this particular case, we looked at Spanish. It could be Italian, it could be Portuguese, it could be German, it could be any other language, but we would consider that to be a special need. And then the teacher would have to tailor make her lesson plan to reach that particular child. That's what this is all about in writing lesson plans. And then over at the right-hand side in her notes, she has all of the colors listed in the Spanish language. And she goes on to write her goal, her outcomes, her materials, and her instructions, everything that we just recently went over. So I'm hoping that this video and the forms that I have emailed to you will help you to navigate through the FCCPC course as you complete your 120 hours of instruction. If you have further questions or concerns, please email me at dbanks@cdsi.org, and I will get back to you. We want to assist you as much as we possibly can. We hope that you will take back to your places of business the things that you learn in this course. That's what it's all about. And use the things that you've learned as a resource in your daily occupation. Please have a wonderful course of study. Please have a wonderful career and a wonderful future, providing the same for the students that you work with each day. Thank you so much. Have a good one.